Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be answering a question. Can you beat Fallout New Vegas as a powder ganger? So just a quick warning, this is not going to be a short can you beat challenge video. This is going to be an actual playthrough. And I know, people have been answering this question since 2010, but it's something I've always wanted to do. And also, because of the success of the Fallout TV show, I feel like there's not a better time to do this than right now. So sit back, grab a snack, and enjoy the ride, because this is the story of Tater Keg.
God, I miss this game! As every story begins, we wake up in Doc Mitchell's bed. Alright. We got ourselves Tater Keg. Shrapnel from two 9mm rounds freshly removed from what's left of my brain, I stumbled out of the bed and set my stats. After taking damn near everything that wasn't nailed down, I sat down to make sure my dogs are still barking. After giving Doc Mitchell something to think about, I picked my tag skills. Guns, obviously, because I'll be using that primarily throughout the run. Lockpick, to get a special little gun much sooner. And explosives, for obvious reasons. When it comes to traits though, I decided to go with more of a roleplay element by picking claustrophobia and hot-blooded. Claustrophobia due to Tater's past of being in prison, he isn't the biggest fan of the indoors. And hot-blooded because I figure I'm going to be at low health quite often, and because powder gangers aren't what I would call rational. And making sure he'll regret the day he was born, and myself. I set sail on the sandy plains of Nevada, looking to hook back with my old gang. After surviving my first bombardment, the DLC pop-ups, I got a little thirsty in real life, so I hopped over to my local Sonic and got myself a Route 44 Dr. Pepper and a Chili Cody, and watched Austin stream for a little bit.
It's like, holy fuck.
Hi, camera. After I was done gorging myself, I hopped into the Prospector Saloon, butt-ass naked, since I didn't have any powder ganger armor yet, and figured I should shake this town for all the XP I can get. Back in the wastes, Tater goes full American Sniper on some geckos, then goes John Wick on the rest. I drop in Ezio style, save the damsel in distress, get some free water, kill her, and then sell my extra hides and DLC weapons to Chet for some easy caps. Tater makes his way back to the Prospector Saloon when he finally sees the man of the hour, Joe Cobb. I swiftly steal the 357 sitting behind the bar and go meet up with the guy causing all the ruckus. I play a few games of Caravan with him because, yes, I am part of the 1% of the population that knows how to play Caravan, leveled up, picked intense training as my perk. So with my newly found single barrel shotgun, I stole myself some moonshine, tried to intimidate Easy Pete with some tumbleweed, it didn't work, and meet up with the boys so we could finally get the shindig on the road. After attempting and failing to get any extra supplies, I lived up to my word and began the assault. Taking over the town is the easy part. Making sure all the powder gangers survive is not. For some reason at the time, I thought you had to keep all the powder gangers alive to get the maximum reputation. Knowing with hindsight, that is not the case. Past Tater didn't know this, so I tried, until I eventually gave up and decided to unleash my inner Agent 47 and dealt with them myself. I got the quest turned in, and Joe let me know that there was a whole gang of powder gangers held up at the NCR Correctional Facility. So I finished up some business in Goodsprings, and for the first time, I actually realized that once you take over the town, items are no longer considered stealing. So that's pretty cool. I leveled up and took a quick break to eat some cashew chicken and watch some Orange is the New Black with my now wife. I ran up north to get some additional XP before heading up to Prim. Pissed off a giant rad scorpion, got jump scared by Malcolm Holmes, made him regret that, cleared out Goodsprings Cave, and finally got my hands on some juicy powder ganger armor. And this is when the challenge really begins.
Now, according to my calculations, about 99% of all NPCs in this game are going to be hostile towards me now, which is going to make it pretty difficult to survive, let alone buying, selling, seeing a doctor. Even going to the strip seems like an impossibility. And this is actually where I ran into my first issue, and it has nothing to do with an NPC. It's actually the reputation system. For some reason, the powder ganger reputation had reset. I honestly have no clue how to fix this, considering I've never seen this glitch happen in all my years of playing this game, and even after doing research about it, I still can't find anything. People just kind of assume different things here and there. A lot of the time it actually involves maybe the faction armor or something. So maybe wearing the powder ganger armor is what causes it. But frankly, I just don't know. Which wouldn't even make any sense to begin with, considering I know I've done NCR runs where I'm idolized by the NCR, and wearing their armor doesn't affect anything. So I don't understand why it's doing it with powder gangers. But considering it's Bethesda, it's probably a feature. But you know what, damn it, Tater Keg is not one to shy away from adversity. He hasn't made it this far to let some stupid game mechanics hold him back. So we march forward and continue on our mission to be the greatest powder ganger to have ever existed.
We finally make our way to the NCR correctional facility. I found my guy Dawes. I let him know of my past deeds, and he let me in. I made my way inside the facility, talked to someone with no relevance, and made my way to the big boss himself. My first quest, I gotta shake down Chavez, a powder ganger who decided he was too good for the rest of us and needs to be brought down a peg. So I sold off some of my extra stuff to the worst merchant in the game and made my way up to Chavez's camp. Unfortunately for Chavez, Tater wasn't in the mood for talking, so I blew his back out, and played dentist with the rest of the crew. I made my way back to the correctional facility to immediately get another mission to check out a real sketchy merchant. What's weird about this one is that normally merchants don't hang around our territory. Seems a little sus if you ask me. So I've been tracked to sort him out. On my way to him, I leveled up, picked the educated perk, because what are you doing not picking this perk as soon as possible, and found my way to the merchant. He spilled the beans relatively quickly, admitting that he's a bounty hunter, looking out for powder gangers. Well, that just ain't gonna do. So I did the right thing, convinced him to leave, and then blew his brains out just to be sure. Back at home base, I gave the message of a job well done, but I didn't even get a chance to celebrate. Bossman straight up asked me to go up into Prim, where there's NCR currently stationed, and snoop around. Eddie is concerned that the NCR hasn't made a ruckus about the powder gangers taking over the prison, so he wants me to go look around and find out what I can. But something tells me that they aren't going to be willing to talk. With no surprise, the first NCR trooper I saw starts opening fire on me. Unfortunately for him, my varmint rifle was far superior to his, as it left him in a pool of his own shame. Also, I forgot to mention another detail of this challenge. On top of the powder ganger's armor not being the best in defense, it also has horrible durability. I mean, it's literally just a prisoner outfit with a bulletproof vest on top of it. So keeping this outfit in tip-top shape is going to be a challenge on its own. Good news about this though is I finally got myself an NCR helmet, and now I'm looking double handsome and with 6 eyes to see trouble from any direction. I kept making my way through the town, taking out another random trooper and Sergeant McGee in the process. Now sneaking my way into the lieutenant's tent. My plan to ambush them with a powder charge didn't quite work out how I wanted, so instead I just gunned down the troopers with my 9mm and replaced Lieutenant Haynes' head with a buckshot. On his corpse I found a holotape explaining that the NCR are planning to launch a full-scale attack on the correctional facility. But before heading back, I wanted to get some more XP before taking on an NCR barrage. So I cleared out the convicts in town that were stupid enough to not be associated with us. Afterwards, I went inside the Bison Steed Hotel to clear the rest of them out. But first, I had to get my first legendary weapon of the run, Lucky. Isn't she just a beaut? I took her out for a spin by taking on the convicts leader with the rest of his goons. Deputy Beagle didn't want to talk to me, so I had him think about the rabbits and sent him to the farm upstate. After looting him, I just happened to find a holotape on him mentioning someone that sounds like the man who shot me in the head. I went upstairs to clear out the rest of the convicts, leveled up again, found a bunch of drugs, and accepted the warm embrace of the townsfolk of Prim. I was only able to kill Johnson Nash before skedaddling on out of there. I cheesed the good people of Prim by taking advantage of the fact that they don't know I cleared out the convicts, so they'll stay inside while I pop my head in and out, killing them a few at a time until they're all dead. The only bad thing about Lucky is the long reload time. That was the main reason I had to leave the casino so many times, but after a couple attempts, I eventually cleared out everyone inside, including Prim Slim, the one thing I actually felt bad for. He couldn't even fight back. Took about 5 sticks of dynamite to even take out the absolute unit. I looted up the casino and finally started making my way back to the NCRCF. I quickly ran back to the base to warn Eddie, and it seems that I got there just in time. The NCR have already started their attack, blowing up the prison's gates from multiple angles. They had us surrounded. We threw everything we had at them. And by everything, I mean dynamite. Lots and lots of dynamite. They started to flank around the back. where Tater Keg stood waiting for them with a stick of dynamite. With explosives in his pocket and Lucky in his hand, no one could stop the Tater, not even while reloading. I leveled up again. I picked Comprehension as my perk, so I can get extra skill points from books. Sadly though, in the battle, we lost Dawes. He fought so valiantly, but he died fighting for the Powder Gangers, a worthy cause that any real men would lay their life down for. Thankfully, we avoided the NCR making it... What are the cats shit in here? Christ. Thankfully, we avoided the NCR making it into our headquarters. I ran up to Eddie to give him the great news. Sadly, he had no more work for me, but I had a permanent home with the Powder Gangers. It's everything I've ever wanted. Sadly, the game is still bugged out and has me only as accepted by them, but I know different in my heart. Also, Eddie offered to give me free supplies every couple of days, so I could stay up to date on my dynamite supply. With nothing but the open road ahead, Tater Keg heads off, back into the wasteland to find more of his kind, and the bastards who shot him in the head.